I was out at Murphy's Pub on Saturday, right before the start of the Spuds hockey game. So there was, dude, I haven't, this was so funny. So we get there and we're just literally having dinner. Like I didn't even have a drink. And it's starting to like fill up in there. You know, this is probably an hour before the game. I didn't even think about the game coming on. That wasn't why we were there. But these parents, dude, they started taking tables like savages. Like they were pushing tables together and getting ready for a big party. And this mom was just pacing, dude, like waiting for somebody to get up. And she kept walking by our table. And finally she stopped and she's like, I don't just mean to be this gal, but she's like, are you guys leaving anytime soon? Like, we're just wondering about this table. And I'm like, I'm literally sitting there and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, maybe. I was like, now I kind of want to stay because I know that you want this, because I know that you want this damn table so bad. And so I almost thought about just being terrible and being like, God, you know, if somebody paid for my meal, I'd probably take off and go right now.
Just be an absolute dick.
Just be a dick about it.
Dude, hockey people are serious.
Oh, they don't mess around.
They are serious people. I bet she was just pissed at you.
Yeah, and so we sat there for like another 20 minutes or whatever, and finally I was just like, hey, like, okay, we're leaving. Like, you can have this. I mean, and she took that thing quick because there was people standing by the door, like waiting for a table to open, and she had been pacing back and forth.
That's ridiculous.
But anyways, they ended up getting it, and then we stopped by Double Down for a minute. And they had the game on, but it wasn't like there was other games and other TVs on too. But when Moorhead came back, the bar was cheering pretty loud.
Really?
Yes. Like for being in Fargo, I didn't really know if anybody would care or watch, but yeah, they were pumped up.
Sometimes I wish I was like more of a hockey fan.
I was even pumped up. I was
cheering. You starting to cheer?
When everybody else cheers, you're kind of like, like go Fargo Moorhead, baby.
Or you start cheering against them. It's kind of a little bit more fun.
Makes it awkward.
Yeah.
Well, it helped that they were playing like, I don't know if it was Edina or Minnetonka or one of like the big Minneapolis schools. And you always feel like you can't cheer for Minneapolis. It's like, all right, I can cheer for Moorhead.
Absolutely.
You know, you get a little local pride in you, Fargo Moorhead pride.
It's good for that pride. Did you catch the men's basketball game last night? NDSU. Did you hear about that?
I did not.
They played UND in the Summit League Championship, and the winner moves on to like the NCAA March Madness tournament.
Who won?
NDSU.
NDSU won.
They pulled it off. Yep.
Really?
Yep.
No, I didn't see that.
That's kind of cool. Pretty rare to see NDSU in the tournament. They haven't made it in quite a few years.
So who are they gonna? Who's the number one seed they're gonna play?
I don't even know, to be honest with you. But it's gonna be like Duke, Kansas,
yes,
Kentucky. Like it's gonna be Arkansas, ridiculous team, and
somebody's gonna light them up.
Yeah,
that's okay.
It was pretty much their championship last night. That was pretty much like that was their big game.
I should have kicked it on. Doggone, now you're telling me here. Well, you finally made it back from vacation.
Yep.
Again.
Oh, shut up.
I laughed. Somebody finally said in the comments or whatever, you remember that guy? And he was like, thought you guys were posting every week. Thought you were posting every week. I didn't see anything this week. I was like, wow, buddy.
I guess
he caught us. He caught us slacking. It's barely March and you missed a week. I was like, wow, brutal.
Sorry.
So we're back. How was it?
It was good. It was good. We went to the Dominican, nice and warm, 82, 83 degrees every day.
That is nice.
Got a little bit of food poisoning at the end, so that's always fun.
Did you?
I did.
I didn't hear about this.
Yep, it wasn't fun.
What'd you eat?
I don't know. It was a lot of shit. It wasn't good.
Was it
the food was not good in the Dominican.
Was it like seafood type, like fishy?
There was seafood. I tried to kind of stay away from that, but like they'll try to make like an American cheeseburger, and dude, it's just like the worst cheeseburger you've ever had.
It's not good.
They don't know how to make.
So tell me, like on 1 to 10 on the scale of how bad the food poisoning was.
Worst I've ever had.
Like a 10 out of 10?
Yeah, probably an 8 or 9 out of 10.
So you were like clutching yourself in the bathroom type food poisoning. Yeah. That is, how long did it last?
It was terrible. It lasted for like that whole night and then that morning. And then my stomach is still not back to normal, but it's much improved. I had to flight the next day, so that really sucked.
That's crazy,
I had
bro.
to pop in Pepto-Bismol like candy.
You did not mention that to me then. Wow,
no,
brutal.
Yeah, have you ever been to like a resort, like a all-inclusive resort?
I've been to Jamaica one time.
You did? Okay.
And I did an all-inclusive. But that's funny you mentioned the American food wasn't good.
Dude.
It wasn't very good. It was the unlimited or whatever. And this was a few years ago, back in my prime drinking years or whatever.
Sure.
And I just got toasted one night, and I ordered like 8 cheeseburgers to the room.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I was thinking. I think I got that. I don't even know if I ate any of them, and I was like, I don't need to be here. I need to go home. This is not a safe place for me.
That does happen. Yeah, the food. I think us Americans are just extremely spoiled. Like their beef and their chicken, it just tastes different. I don't know what it is. We just have it. We have it good. We're super unhealthy. So.
Yeah, we have it good here. I mean, it doesn't taste as good when it's natural. I like it loaded with preservatives or something.
For some reason, it just tastes better. it just tastes better. But no, it feels good to be home. Glad we're back on the grind. It's good to be meeting every Monday and stick to this.
We are back on the grind. We are pretty excited. I think we've got some fun podcast guests lined up.
Yeah.
I don't know how much we should share, but I think we got a pretty good roster lined up here. So
for North Dakota, I think we've got some pretty massive names.
I hope so. So in the next few weeks, you guys will have to stay tuned. Hopefully you can catch up on that. Yeah. So I needed an update on your flip house. Is there an update at all? Has anything happened? Yep. I went out there and I was like, I started looking. I was looking a little close.
And you're wanting to know where all the progress is?
I was like, where is Ben's progress?
The flooring, the whole upstairs flooring should be done by like today or tomorrow. So that's good. The paint and drywall work is all done. We've got appliances not going in quite yet, but we've got them picked out and everything like that. And then basement work should be done by this week as well. And then as far as like that salon, next week we're going to start demo.
You are starting next week.
So that's the plan. So I mean, we're making progress. We're getting there.
You're getting there.
I think last week was just a little bit slower. Some of the contractors were busy with other jobs, and then I was out of town. So last week was kind of a slow week. But
yeah,
I think in the next 2 to 3 weeks there's going to be a ton of progress. So.
You kind of got to be around to like start whipping on some of these guys, and it's if you're not there physically, like babying the site along, it does seem to stall out a little bit.
Yeah,
I have had that. Well, it's looking nice. The little flooring that was in, it did look good.
Yeah,
so that's gonna be nice, and it helps that the snow is kind of all gone too.
Yeah,
like just naturally yards just look a little better when it's not janked with snow and ice, and your gutters are froze up, and it's like at least you could kind of see like, okay, this is pretty nice out here.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm excited about it. It should be good. Good progress to be made. I think we're kind of shooting for like a mid-April, hopefully like list date. So
okay.
Give us another 20 to 30 days. I'm hoping it's done.
Boy, if you guys get that done in 30 days, I'd be impressed.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
There's still some work left to be done.
See, I'm sure there'll be some surprises, and you'll be laughing at me like, yeah, this guy thinks he can do this in 30 days.
A surprise in a flip house. I've never seen that before.
Yeah,
I've never been blindsided by a project before. You'd be the first guy that happened.
Really? Perfect. Yeah.
Well, my flips are all wrapped up. We got one keeping one as a rental. The other one we had the 4 offers on, so that one is scheduled to close probably next 30 days as well.
Okay.
So we ended up having a couple hiccups through there, but like, let's be real. What deal doesn't have a hiccup? Yeah. It's inevitable, right? Yeah. So it was over some flood insurance, some nonsense, but we ended up getting it figured out. So yeah, pretty stoked. And now we're back to the grind looking for our next ones here.
Okay.
I gotta start getting out in the wild. Even like today, I should have talked you into coming with and recording me walking around some of these houses here. So I'm gonna go look at some real fun ones today. So
you got a couple on the roster today?
One today for sure. Might be going and re-looking at one back in Moorhead.
Okay.
I had kind of made an offer on. But it was like in January and you couldn't see anything.
No.
I mean, it was like that stretch of like -20. So you like basically couldn't walk around outside. You couldn't see the roof. You couldn't see any of the yard. So it's like sometimes you're kind of shooting in the dark when you're making offers on that. It's like, well, I hope the backyard isn't like completely shredded because I don't really know.
Yeah.
So
when you're kind of going through these, like, do you have like a specific calculator that you use, or is it you've just done this so much that you can just kind of use just paper and pen?
I have a formula sheet now.
You do? For
a long time, I was just going the scratch paper route. But there's just a lot of things that, and you're learning it too. I mean, you talked about, there's just some stuff you don't think to account for.
Yep.
You don't think about, oh crap, I needed $1,000 worth of new tools and blades and saw blades or whatever else that it is. And so I've kind of like pinpointed all of those things out, things that, I'm probably not thinking about. Because when you're walking through a house, you're thinking of big things. Mechanics, roof, windows, flooring, kitchen, like big ticket items. But it's those little items that really just nickel and dime you towards the end. So I basically made a spreadsheet, and it's like 2 pages, and I print it out, and it's got my formula on there. And then each line by line, I can check it off. I can knock off how many doors, how many cabinet pulls, how many toilets do we need? And then, I get to the end, I can tally it all up, and then I can basically just subtract it from what the house is worth, commissions, blah, 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 and poof, spits out a magic number.
Has it been pretty accurate?
So far.
Yeah.
So far. I said the offer was guaranteed. I didn't say you'd like it, but it is guaranteed.
Should be your slogan.
That number
didn't say
that
you're gonna like it.
I didn't say you were gonna like it, but I said the offer is guaranteed. So yeah, it hasn't let me down yet here.
Well, and that's the thing I'm learning. I mean, like it is risk. I know people give you a lot of shit of like, oh, you're just gonna lowball me. And it's like I get that, but now that I'm actually doing it, like there's so much risk involved, and
it's huge.
It costs a lot of money. Like you and me have talked about before. If I'm going to spend $200,000 to $300,000, I should just find $200,000-300,000 and put it in a stock market that builds me 8 to 12% a year.
Right.
Like that's way easier and way less risk than trying to like actually do a flip house.
For sure.
So your low balls are kind of justifiable because there is risk. And it sucks.
Yeah, and it is. You're 100% right. It's like, okay, well, I could take money and stick it in stocks or something and do nothing. And it's like, so I'm not going to risk $200,000 to make $5,000.
Yes.
Like that's a terrible return.
Yes.
You know, they're like, oh, you made $30,000 on that house. It's like, yeah, I had to. Like, it's not, I can't make any less than that or it doesn't financially make sense.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you made $30,000. I get it. That's a big number to some people, but it's like, dude, I can't afford it. The margins get too thin, too quick if you don't have that kind of deal built in. I've had projects where I have thought going into it, it's like, yeah, I could probably make $20,000 on that.
Sure.
You know, because if everything went perfect and you made $20,000, it's like, okay, well, that's fine. You made $20,000 is $20,000.
Yeah.
But it's like, you can find out real quick that $20,000 margin can turn to razor blades. 100%. I mean, just nothing.
Yeah.
And it's like, shit, I should have started it at $40,000 margin and worked my way back to 20, but I started at 20 and now I made nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and I even laugh about it too. It's like, because I've had a project or two where I've came out, I think one of them made like $4,000. Oh. And I was like, well, thank God I made money, you know, whatever. But I was like, okay, but I spent 3 months of my time on this thing.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't even factoring that in.
No.
That was just financially on paper. I got my money back theoretically, but I lost money by the time I drove over there 40 times and paid all these guys and spent all this energy. Like, yeah, you do. You have to have bigger numbers on some of these deals or it's like,
paying $200,000 to make $20,000 is not worth it at all.
No,
put that in stocks. Put that in literally a cash savings that makes 4% a year. Like it doesn't that doesn't add up. And even though $20,000, people are like, well, geez, $20,000 for 2 months of work. It's like, yeah, but that's if everything went right.
Yeah,
like what if interest rates spiked and then the market goes to shit? What if this house didn't sell? What if I had to hold on to this for a year?
Yeah,
it's like
then I'm down $20,000.
Then you're down,
and now it's a horrible investment.
Exactly. So I get it. I get why you have to be so aggressive, but I mean, you also provide a lot of solutions to people, even if it is a low ball. I mean, for you to be able to offer cash offer is huge.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's amazing. You catch a lot of people in situations and. You know, you and I as young entrepreneurs and investors, you go, you're never walking away from money. Like you are willing to work your ass off if it meant bringing an extra $20,000 to the table. You would do whatever it took, right? You're not leaving that.
No.
But there is countless situations where people either don't have the energy, they don't have the money to put back into it, they don't have the time, or they don't have the mental capacity to do it. You know, there's so many just different scenarios where people are like, okay, yeah, I understand I'm leaving a little bit of money on the table, but the convenience sake and the heartache that you're saving some of these people, it's worth it to them.
Yeah.
You know, you think about somebody that lives in California and they inherited a house that their mom lived in for 50 years and they're like, what the hell am I going to do with this thing? They're like, we came back home for the funeral and like, they're like, we got to go back home. Like, we can't sit here for 6 months and piece this thing together and list it back on the market and be dealing with people. They're like, if you can close on this deal before we have to go back home on the flight, they're like, we'll sign papers today.
Yeah.
You know, if they're like, if you can put a check in our pocket and we can walk out of here, and they're happy about it.
Yeah.
You know, you're not, nobody ever has to take your deal. I mean, you present it to them and you go, hey, I encourage you to shop around. And if you think there's something better, like I would never hold that against you. But repeatedly, time and time again, people are usually just like, yeah, like, thank God we ran into you. Because they're like, we didn't know what we were going to do. Yeah. You know, and like you said, now you're kind of a solutions provider instead of like, getting that derogatory look of like, oh, you're freaking lowballing me. And they're like, dude, you did us a favor.
Yeah.
And it's like, those are the type of people that it's kind of a win-win.
Yeah.
So,
well, and you and me both know it as agents too. Even best case scenario, if it does get listed, there's still so many contingencies that you have to work through. I mean, I've worked with countless buyers that we're trying to actively buy a house, but we can't find one that doesn't have a foundation issue.
Yep.
So it's like, even if we get this on the market, we get it cleaned up, we get it ready to go, we get full market value, you get someone under contract, boom, issue, another contingency to where you can come in. I don't care. I've already looked at the house. No contingencies. I will buy it today.
Yep.
It's
Done
like,
deal.
You can't get that anywhere else.
No, you really can't here. We had a listing in South Moorhead that we're working on. Listed it for like dirt cheap, like 40,000. So there's like 7 offers on the table, and even just on this type of deal, like I had made them an offer even lower than 40. I mean, I was in like the 20s or whatever, but they took an offer at like 40,000, and they had an inspection contingency on it, and I was like, why are we accepting an offer on a $40,000 house with an inspection? We should have known better. And so we did, and the whole inspection contingency 2-week period went through, backed out on the final day. And it's like, dude, but exactly like you're right, though. I mean, even if you do try and do all the right things, you try and maximize, you're trying to get that extra little bit of cash, like it's still not guaranteed. You know, like you still got to mess with this thing the entire way here.
Yes.
So it will get sold. But anyways, so no,
Yeah.
I'm excited, man. I am ready to see this flip come through. I am hoping you're graceful enough to share numbers with me when it's all said and done.
I will.
Because I'm gonna be mad if you just make an ass ton of money on this thing, and then I'll be like, damn it.
I don't know, dude. My very basic spreadsheet, there are things where I'm circling and I'm like, oh, that was more than I thought. Like it just doesn't fail. And like, you know, we got a loan to actually, you know, buy the property, but we're using pretty much all of kind of like our cash reserves to actually put into like the fix up and everything.
Sure.
And that's been the hardest part. I'm like, I have no money. Like, I'm just spending all my money on this flip. And it's like, I think that's why so many people don't do investing. Because even I catch myself right now. I'm like, why? I don't have any cash. Like, I feel poor all the time because I'm always buying a flip or buying a rental. And it's like, I'm always poor. No matter what, I'm always poor. But I think, I don't know. I've heard some of my mentors say the same thing. They're like, dude, if you're going to invest, you're going to feel poor for a long time until you're not.
Yeah.
I don't know if you felt that way with buying all of your flips. Like,
dude,
you
constantly.
have to. Like,
Constantly.
You win, but then you spend it. And you're like, well, cool.
Yeah, every dollar it's like I make, it's like I turn around and I'm like reinvesting it. And you don't want to live so razor thin something bad's going to happen. But yeah, even like this rental I bought or whatever, it's like, okay, so all of my proceeds from my previous projects, like I literally just turn them around and I shoved them back into this rental now. Yeah. Okay, well, on paper, yeah, we're getting rich on paper.
Sure.
That's great. On my balance sheet, it shows I'm worth X amount of dollars, but it's like, why the hell? I got nothing in my bank account.
Yeah.
You know?
Why does it feel like I can't go to freaking Starbucks and buy a coffee?
Yeah.
Right now?
It's like, okay, well, on paper, you know, like I said, it looks great and that's phenomenal. And one day that will pay off. But like you said, it's 20, 25 years of just taking it in the teeth. Yeah. And then all of a sudden one day it's like stuff starts getting paid for. They start cash flowing better. Rents keep going up. And it's like, okay, now we've made it here. But in the meantime, yeah, it is. It's brutal out there.
All the money we make is already almost always spoken for. Every single time. And you're just like, man, I thought I was doing well.
If I can just sneak a Arizona vacation in there every once in a while, you know.
That's all you need.
We'll just have to make it work here. So, well, I'm stoked, man. Well, happy Monday. Glad we made it back. And, yeah, let's get back into it.
All right.